Stop the tape, everybody. Before the video starts, let me show you all this, because I cannot wrap my head around it for the life of me. See this picture of Mugman? Good. Remember the gloves. See the picture of Mugman over here? Good. Look at the gloves. Why are they fucking yellow? I cannot wrap my head around this, and I'm starting to think I've uncovered some kind of conspiracy that I don't know if I can solve. Oh shit, the cops. I gotta run. Cuphead, the award-winning indie game for 2017, which started life as a Mega Man clone. I hope you can see now why I wanted to look at this game. Nah, I'm just joking. Well, sort of. The reason I wanted to look at this game is somewhat due out of a sign of respect. What do I mean with that? Well, remember around December when everyone was making their top 10 games of the decades list? Well, I do, and Cuphead wasn't on a lot of those lists, when I feel like it really should have been. So, I wanted to do this video as a sign of respect to give Cuphead its moment in the glory, even though it had that 3 years ago when it came out.
That's right! I'm in the house! Here it comes!
Cuphead is the product of Canadian studio MDHR, who was founded by Chad and Jared Moldenhauer. It started development in 2010, and it was inspired by other indie success stories such as Super Meat Boy, and talk about another great indie game, but that's a topic for another video. To help Cuphead stand out from the crowd, Studio MDHR decided to go with a 1930s Fleischer animation style for the game's presentation. I know jack shit about animation, but what I can tell from my 3 minutes of research is that this must have been hell for the dev team. To be as authentic as they could be, Studio MDHR decided to draw this game by hand. Let me repeat that. They drew this game by hand. Anything you can see in this game at one point was just a black and white doodle on a piece of paper. However, this wasn't true for the coloring. It's been reported to say that the coloring by hand would have taken 80% longer than it would have digitally. Since there wasn't that big of a difference, they just went digital. Though this took a while, the brothers stuck to it, and they wanted the game to feel as authentic as it could be, and they also wanted to keep tradition of hand-drawn animation alive, which is very respectable. While I do still see some idiocracy, part of me really likes to thank Jared and Chad, because they did a great job of sticking to their guns, and not many developers do that. In result, this game looks better than any game at its time, or even now. While this animation did look nice, it wasn't cheap, so they needed some financial aid, and luckily Microsoft came through and they helped pay for it. While the financial aid from Microsoft really did help, that did not help the game go any faster, because the game's first release date was 2014, which it missed. Then its next release date was 2015, which it also missed. And then its third release date was 2016. They missed that one too. Then the fourth release date was September 29, 2017, and they finally made it. This was only for the Xbox One and PC release, and this made sense since Microsoft helped publish the game, so it makes sense that they'd keep it exclusive to their platforms. There were many people that were upset that there wasn't a Mac, a PS4, or a Switch port planned, but at the very least, this made sense from a business perspective. Well, lucky for some fans, this problem would soon be ironed out. On October 18, 2018, Studio MDHR released a small short known as Crisp Apples. In this short, the apple character from the beginning of the game walks up towards Cuphead and Mugman, who are eating some crisp apples. Oh, that's why they called it that. Anyway, after that, the short ends and it says Cuphead is now on Mac. Oh, that's why they called it that. So now Cuphead's on Mac. Cool. But the majority of people wanted a Switch port, and luckily that wasn't too far off. Well, on March 20th, 2019, Nintendo held a Nindies Direct, and to open the show, it was revealed that Cuphead will be coming to the Nintendo Switch on April 18th, 2019. This was mind-blowing that Microsoft was going to release one of their games on the Switch, because the big three companies in video games are Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, so seeing Microsoft do something like this is something monumental. So now with Cuphead on the Switch, it seems like the next step for it to make will be releasing on the PS4, right? Nope, Microsoft stopped at the Switch, probably because Microsoft doesn't have a portable platform of their own, so it seems like releasing Cuphead on the Switch would do nothing but make them more money. So a PS4 port never came. Sorry, Fitz.
God damn it! The extra, read all about it. The best burgers in town from all around. People from around.
So, our story begins with Cuphead and his brother Mugman finding their way into the Devil's Casino. Once there, our duo seems to be on a winning streak, so the Devil offers them a deal. If they can win one more game, all the money in the Devil's vault will be theirs, but if they lose, the Devil will have their souls. Pro tip, if someone makes a bet and involves your soul, back the fuck up and run away. However, it seems like Cuphead has never heard about that rule, so, without his brother's consent, Cuphead throws the dice and loses. Alright, Cuphead, just ignore me like that, alright. Since they lost, Cuphead and Mugman now owe the Devil their souls. They plead to the Devil to find another way out of their debt, and the Devil makes them his muscle, so you say, and tells them to go gather the contracts from the other 17 debt owers. With no time to lose, the duo run home to their father figure, the Elder Kettle, and he gives them a magic potion that allows them to finger bang anyone they see. I know where that's headed and I'm sticking to it. Fast forwarding through Aisle 1, the Elder Kettle finally catches up to Cuphead and Mugman. He tells them that they might be strong enough to beat the devil himself, so in order to get close to the devil, they must get the other 12 soul contracts just so they can stand a chance of beating him. Once Cuphead and Mugman obtain all 17 soul contracts, they head straight to Inkwell Hell, right where the Devil's Casino is located. Once they go to the front door, they get greeted by Mr. King Dice, and they have to take him down even to get a chance of going against the devil. Once they defeat Mr. King Dice, they get their way to the Devil's Lounge, and they get given a choice. You can beat the devil, like Elder Kettle suggested, or you can actually give the devil the contracts. Doing this, though, gives you the bad ending, where the devil goes back on his half the deal, and Cuphead and Mugman become his servants. If you choose to give the devil the contracts, you actually get to skip the final boss with the devil, so if you don't think you can do it, there's a way out. But no, I want to kick the devil's ass. What other game can you say you kick Satan's ass? And Ghosts and Goblins does not count. So, once we choose to fight the devil, he crashes our game. This wasn't scripted, like, that actually happened. I thought that was really funny, so I thought I should mention it here. Anyways, once the devil goes down and surrenders, Cuphead and Mugman burn everyone's contract, which sets everybody free. Cuphead and Mugman tell everybody the news, and a huge celebration is held in their honor, and even a sequel is teased at the end. Or maybe they're referring to the DLC. I don't know. Anyways, great story, but it was simple. When it comes to gameplay, this game is most comparable to classic run-and-gun games like Contra. While in those games, the focus on surviving the stages themselves, in Cuphead, it's about surviving the boss fight. While there are a total of 6 run-and-gun stages in the game, this game's main bread and butter is basically the boss fights, because including the Devil and Mr. King Dice bosses, there are a total of 19 bosses to go up against. Since we can, we might as well go over all 19 of those boss fights. Starting with Aisle 1, Groupie Legrand and the Root Pack are incredibly easy, like I'm pretty sure I did them on my first attempt. Then we have Ruby and Krogs, who are a bit more of a challenge, but are still fairly simple. Nice Street Fighter references though. Then we have Hildeberg, which in my opinion is the hardest mid-air fight since all of her gimmicks she has. And then we finish off with Cacti Carnation, who is somewhat considered the final boss of Aisle 1. Anyway, he's not too bad, except he introduces a new gimmick into the game, which is basically the floor becomes lava, and that's what it means, basically. The floor will hurt you, like in Cacti Carnation's instance, though. He has spikes in the ground, and basically you can't touch the ground, you have to rely on the platforms he gives you. Anyways, on to Aisle 2, we start with Dimji the Great, who I hope I pronounced right. He's an all too challenging. Then we have Beppy the Clown, who seems to be a forgettable boss, but for me, he's always one I look forward to challenging. The music, the stage gimmicks, I don't know, it's just all there for me. Then we have Baroness von Bonbon, who in my first playthrough gave me a lot of shit, but this time I beat her under 4 attempts, and I don't know if I sucked or if I just got better at the game, which gets me the same thing. Well, hey, on the bright side, to actually beat von Bonbon, you can rescue the 4th barbershop pole, and you can get a little ditty out of it.
Chores to do, there's leaves to rake.
Up next, we have Grim Matchwick, who many people will consider as the fucking destroyer of worlds. Well, I ended up beating those people when saying that he is not that hard. I mean, sure, he's annoying, but while those people are complaining annoying is the same as hard, I'm busy beating up Grim Matchwick to a bloody pulp because I can figure out a pattern pretty easily and get rid of him. And finally, for Aisle 2, we have the final boss, Wally Warbles. Wait, what, you guys don't consider him the final boss? Well, fuck you, I do. Again, I don't know why, but I always save him for last whenever I play the game, and I always consider him a final boss for Aisle 2. And just like Cacti Carnation, he also introduces a new phase that will be present in other boss fights, and that is the Bullet Hell phase. What do I mean by Bullet Hell? Well, I mean that almost in any airplane stage after this, there will be at least one phase where a bunch of obstacles get thrown your way and you have to dodge all of them. Unpopular opinion, I love these sections due to the high adrenaline it gives out. It's just so much fun and so rewarding when you get played them. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Anyways, once done with him, we enter the Die House and pass by the slyest character in all of gaming, Mr. King Dice. King Dice is the coolest mofo ever. He's got a very cool suit, he's the devil's right-hand man, and he also has the best theme song in the entire game.
Mr. King Dice.
Okay, now on to Aisle 3. Captain Brownie Beater is nothing special, Werner Warman has a kick-ass theme which you should be hearing in the background right now, then Sally's stage play is an interesting aesthetic for a stage because it's a stage play and you're fighting in it and she's still acting, so it's kind of like you're interrupting or crashing the party. Calamari was another airplane stage, and I beat her in 3 attempts, but at least she had another Bull Hell section. Rumor Honeybottom was the first boss gave me some actual trouble, mainly because her triangle attack and her Bullet Bill attacks were kind of hard to dodge and weren't very predictable. Dr. Kell's robot bugged out for me and Dr. Kell himself didn't appear, which made this boss a joke. Being serious after that, I replayed the boss the correct way and it was much easier than Honeybottom, but it still wasn't that bad. But at the very least, he did have another Bullet Hell section. Then the final boss for Aisle 3, we had the Phantom Express, which was also a cool boss fight. I had a bit of trouble with all 4 phases of the boss fight, but they were all really fun and interesting. But soon enough, it wasn't impossible and we were able to defeat it, and the last thing in our way for the Devil's Casino is gone. We now enter Inkwell Hell and head straight to the Devil's front door, and instead of finding him, we have to fight King Dice first. King Dice is essentially a mini boss gauntlet that leads straight to a fight against King Dice himself. This is the only fight in the game where you can regain health after you lose it. All you have to do is land the dice on a roll that has a heart on it. All the mini bosses, including King Dice, are pushovers, and soon enough we could take on the devil himself and send King Dice to hell. Even though he's already in hell. Whatever, it still makes sense. The devil was the hardest fight from the entire game, mainly due to all the bullshit that gets turned away in the first phase, but with enough trial and error, he eventually goes down, and fucking finally, that is all the bosses in the game. Like, seriously, I did not expect to take this long to voice every one of these segments. And yes, I play as Mugman throughout the entire game. And yes, I use a spread shot, auto shot, and the pea shooter if you were wondering. And yes, this game can be hard, but I don't see this as a problem, mainly because the fun of this game comes from the trial and error and eventually beating that very hard boss. But also the negative things I have for this game in the final thoughts section, so without further ado...
The ketchup, the mustard, the salt, and the pepper. Pour it on right, guys, we got no extra. You watch the grill, control the flame.
Cuphead is a fantastic looking game, best looking in the entire decade in fact, or of all time. This game might also be one of the hardest in the entire decade as well. Well, that's good and bad, but it comes to a price, mainly because it's going to be scaring off some potential players. Many people might get scared off from the game if they hear that it's really challenging. Which it is. I would say that the difficulty in this game is about 90% fair and then 10% bullshit. And that 10% bullshit comes from the Devil, King Dice, and Honeybottom. Their attacks are either completely up to RNG or utter bullshit. I encountered a few bugs in my playthrough as well, such as 3 separate times the game crashed, Dr. Cal not loading in for me, and just some minor little frame skippings here and there. But besides that, the game was really fun and I enjoyed myself. And who knows, it might have been just bad luck or the Switch port. With all this in mind, I decided to give Cuphead Don't Deal with the Devil a solid 8 out of 10. If I could sum up this entire review and game in one sentence, it would be, it's fun, but it's not for everyone.
Burgers is all we have in mind. We cook the best, taste better in mind. Now put the...
So, 4 months later, I finally give Cuphead the respect it deserves. I feel satisfied. And if you're wondering what's next, I'm getting ready to start my next marathon, and if you want a bit of a hint on what's it gonna be, just listen to the ending card theme. There you go, that's all I'm gonna give you.
Now put it on the tray, is it for here to go? Any which way it tastes good, you know?
Hooray! Right as I was finishing this video, new details on the Cuphead Netflix show came out, so I might as well talk about them. Basically, all that was confirmed is that Netflix will have a Cuphead show coming out soon. It'll have 10, 11-minute episodes, and I'm really interested in seeing where this goes. I mean, if you really think about it, the Cuphead game itself is already a cartoon since it was hand-drawn and animated like a cartoon. I mean, we already have a few shorts that were basically used as trailers, and I really like if they kept the art style and direction they did for those, but from this poster I have, it looks like they're taking a different art style, and I'm not that big a fan of it, but it still looks interesting. And I'm sure this will follow the Cuphead curse of getting a release date and then pushed back a year, then getting pushed back another year. Basically, it's gonna happen. It's happened with the DLC, it's happened with the main game, it's gonna happen with the cartoon, trust me. With that out of the way now, I can tell you all to subscribe, like, comment, do whatever you want. And also, I can tell you have a great day. Thank you for watching the Marbo 2 show, and stay safe. Also, thank you Fitz for sending in that clip. Link to his channel in the description below. Take care and bye again.